Hello and welcome to the Sports Express Community Sports Report. I'm here with Scott Wilson, the defensive coordinator of the Auburn Pride. On this week's episode, we're going to talk some Auburn Pride football, and we're also interviewing TJ Gamba, the coach of the Cuba Spartans, talking about his role starting a baseball program here in Auburn at Cuba Community College, and also about his journey along the way. Very fascinating story. Auburn guy, goes to Ithaca College, plays a couple of years of professional baseball, and right now it's all about giving back to the Auburn community.
From Pop Warner to the Dome, from 5Ks to marathons, from Little League to work leagues, focusing on the community sports lifestyle in Central New York.
Do it. Go and do it.
So, Coach, let's start with the Auburn Pride. Another heartbreaker.
I don't know what to think. Every week I drive home and my mind's going 100 miles an hour, thinking of 20 different things that could have tipped the scale in our favor. You know, we're one play, two plays away from winning every week, and we got to find a way to get over that hump. We could be as easily 3-0 as we are 0-3.
Oh, without a doubt. So this week's game against the Broome County Stallions, you guys handled them pretty easily last year. This year you fall 10-6 down there. Game played at Susquehanna Valley High School. Again, defense played really well. One long passing play that they score a touchdown on, and a field goal. That's it, right?
Yeah, we defensively they had a fairly good opening drive, and then we kind of settled down and made them punt. And I think they either turned it over or punted the entire rest of the game. They had one long third down play where they ran a little trips formation. They did a pump on the slot guy, and the other receiver, took off deep, beat our safety, got a long touchdown. In watching the film, we see a couple mistakes. We didn't get a good jam on the guy, and the safety, for just a split second, caught a little flat-footed on the pump. Outside of that, we pretty much stuffed them. I mean,
defense again played great.
Yeah.
Offensively, there seemed to be some spark. Moved the ball down the field, but again, a lot of penalties really caused the doom for some offensive possessions, and one goal line stand by the Stallions really was the difference in the ball game. On a bright note, Sultani Campbell, expected a lot from him this year, catches his first touchdown pass, gets us on the board, but falls short 10-6. What were your thoughts on the offense this week?
Yeah, they definitely moved the ball the best they've moved it so far in the 3 games. They seem to bog down a little inside the 20s, whether it be penalties, a missed pass. We had a couple guys open that were sure touchdowns. We overthrew them. We make all those little mistakes that we had a couple where we actually scored and then they got called back for penalties, and I keep telling the guys, and it's hard to keep selling this, but we're that close. And a couple missed assignments on the line, just small things that we worked hard this week. We had a good practice. We watched film and really try to not necessarily hold guys accountable, but let them see what we're trying to tell them. When we say that this, and this happened, when they see it on film, it comes into, a realization for them that, wow, that is what happened. So.
All right. Unfortunately, the bad news looks like we're into quarterback number 4 now. Danny Giannone broke his ankle. Ty got hurt. JB saw some run. So what are we looking at next week at quarterback?
Well, we had a couple guys give it a shot this week. One guy, he spoke up at the end of the game last week and said he could play quarterback, and we're kind of in one of those positions where we got to use what we have, and so we gave him a shot this week. And when offense was upstairs, I had him stay downstairs with the defense. We ran a lot of one-on-one drills, and I was really working him on 3 seconds. I was blowing the whistle, and if he didn't have it out, he was sacked. And he was spinning it nice. The other kid, he was released by the Syracuse Strong.
Okay.
He came to us, and he definitely can throw the football.
Does he know the offense?
I don't think that either of them necessarily know the offense particularly well. They're both football players, so they've been around it enough to understand the lingo. It's just like anything, it's a timing thing. They got to get that timing down with the wide receivers, which unfortunately, so far has proved to be elusive.
All right, so who's on the schedule this week?
We have the Upstate Predators. I watched a little film on them. They're pretty similar to us. They run a 4-3. They don't overcommit on defense. They don't blitz a lot. They play it pretty straight up. On offense, I see a lot of 2x1s with a running back motion out to give them trips formations. Their quarterback looks fairly mobile, so I have told the guys, we got to really be on point, especially on the backside. Don't get caught, at end cheating in trying to chase, because he'll spin out and it'll be a big play. So I think if we stay disciplined, I think we'll be all right.
That game's on the road this week?
Yep, we're in Rochester.
All right, heading out to Rochester, the Upstate Predators. I do have to say, he's been a beast all season long, but watching the game, Shamar Williams just seems to be everywhere and on every tackle and just flying around like a madman.
Yeah, he definitely has no regard for his own well-being. He flies around at 100 miles an hour, and you're right. Yeah. He's around the football all the time. We watched on film. I called a couple blitzes, and we set it up where he came on touch and just buried the running back one-on-one. Yeah. And he's very emotional, sometimes to his own detriment. Sure. But, man, you can't argue his passion for the game. Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, Coach, good luck. Again, I agree with you 100%. This 0-3 team could very easily be 3-0, but get another crack at a lot of these guys in the second half of the season. Got to get that first win in hand, however. So hopefully that'll be this week against the Upstate Predators.
I hope that we go there this week, we win, and then maybe go hit Nick Tahoe's for a garbage plate.
Sounds great. All right, Coach, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Rob Bennett and Scott Wilson from the Sports Express Network, and we are here today with local legend TJ Gamba, now coach of the Cuba Spartans. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
How's it going today?
Thanks, Scott. How you doing? Great.
Good.
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. So really want to hear about the Cuba Spartans. We'll start out with that, and what's going on there?
Well, quite a bit actually. It's a year ago we were just getting the program off the ground. It was a hectic year of basically recruiting, rolling some logistic wrinkles out just to get some things going, and from there it's been a little bit of a grind, but on the pleasant side, some good things happened, and we got a lot of great things happening, obviously.
It's got to be a pretty neat opportunity. There's a lot of guys that get to coach a lot of different places, but to start a program from scratch, not a lot of guys get that opportunity. No. And I think they made a fantastic coach with you. We said Auburn native, going to Ithaca College, getting drafted by the Indians, playing some minor league ball, coached all over, coached with Ithaca, coached at Auburn High School, did some other things as well, but I know they were ecstatic to get you here, and it looks like that it's working out so far. What have been your thoughts on the season?
Our season, well, geez, going into it, we knew we were a little light on the roster as far as numbers for recruitment. It's our first year. It's kind of a hard thing to get going. But we got the players that we got, and we basically got going on the chalkboard and went back to just the primal fundamentals of the game, and that will always be our foundation of our program, no matter how many players and how good a player or a student athlete that we get here. But we just went to the basic fundamentals. We started in on ground balls. We started in on catching it. We throwing it where we have to as far as pitching goes, making good contact, getting very aggressive on the base pass, and that formula kind of worked into the mentality part of the game. We got some great coaches in our program, and we all kind of got together very quickly and melded, and things went in a really good direction, and the season went in a good direction. We made our mistakes, but we learned from it. But it was a good season overall for us. Ecstatic about it.
You finished the year 20-16. Yep. Was that your expectations going in? Did you have any idea that you'd be that successful?
No way.
All right.
But with that said, I'm the type of person, and anybody that knows me, I'm very competitive. It's just like on the academic side of things. If you study for the test and you have your expectations of doing well on the test, and once we figured out that we had a kind of a tough group, kind of bought into the mentality, things went in that direction, as I stated just a few minutes ago. And with that said, the bar always was going as high as they would set it, and we kept setting it just a touch higher for them to touch.
Sure.
That height of level of play, and they did a great job. The kids did a great job. Their best attribute was their toughness, their mental toughness, and that really came through in a lot of different ways throughout the season.
Well, that's fantastic. Year one, a lot of local kids, a lot of Auburn kids. I think a Skinny Alice kid, Marcellus,
Yes, sir.
ESM, I think.
Sam Jenkins, yes.
So it's got to be fun when you're winning and winning with local kids as well.
Sure.
But has there been a transition mode? Talk about the recruiting trail. Like now you're going to year two. How's that different?
Well, just getting our name out. The year that we had was a foothold. I think people understand that we're going to work at this. We're into development here and teaching the game. First and foremost, hopefully that carries some of the attributes out into life as well. That's the goal here. We are in the student athletic setting of college. This is not professional baseball or something beyond, not even softball, but we were joking earlier about that. But we're fundamentally a teaching program, get at those basics, and the recruiting year this year got better from the year we had. Definitely, we had more contact. We had more. Our word was out there. Our brand is getting out there. I'm out there a little bit more. Coaches are out there a little bit more. So we're really trying to recruit the local area. We're getting some influx from outside of the area. I had a recruit in this morning from New York City, as I told you earlier. So that's going really good, and I couldn't be happier with the way things are progressing. And I still got a long way to go to roll some wrinkles out. Logistically, we're running into a new complex, our home field.
I wanted to talk to you that luckiest program in the world getting to play in the brand new Falcon Park. Talk about Falcon Park a little bit.
Oh my God. I don't know. It's just it's kind of overwhelming to have grown up there and see it go from the old Falcon Park to the new Falcon Park, and then get the turf added to that. And I don't know. It's for recruiting. It's a beautiful thing. When the kids got on it, when it finished, it was a beautiful thing. It's playing well, and it's going to settle in and gain speed. It's playing a little bit slow, I think, right now. So my first onset as far as baseball goes, but that's going to speed up quick.
Yeah, we've got to do a little plug for the Double Days right now.
Job.
Everyone in Auburn, if you have not been out to Falcon Park yet to see the Double Days, you've got to get out there and see that new turf. And, pretty neat the relationship between Falcon Park, obviously, the municipality-run organization in the Double Days. But I love what they did with Falcon Park and Cuba Community College. And so it's you guys are playing there, but also started a lacrosse team, women's lacrosse, and that's fantastic.
Soccer will be there. It's
such a great partnership for the whole area.
Yeah, so now the field is going to have a couple more months of usage for our community. I mean, it is a community college setting. I think it's a great deal for everybody involved as far as the school goes, the community, and I'm sure this, the high school team has a beautiful place to play now. That there's games in the early spring that would have never made it there this spring. And next spring they're going.
That's for sure. Coming from guys who played, well, I can't even say we played, that we're trying to play on grass fields. Having some turf fields would definitely make everyone's life a lot easier. But you guys have that. And so, did the recruit you had in today? Did he have a chance to see Falcon Park?
Yes, sir.
What do you think?
Him and his parents came in. They were overwhelmed and wooed. It's great. I gotta say, that's going to be a tough match. There's some beautiful facilities and college ranks around here, and I got to put that right at the top of the list.
Yeah,
right at the top of the list.
These kids in Auburn,
we're fortunate.
These kids in Auburn are unbelievably lucky. First, they get to play football and lacrosse in Holland Stadium. And which I'm telling you, there is just no better venue for high school football, or the Auburn Pride playing there also. Beautiful. But then for the high school team to play at Falcon Park, I think that's just going to help out significantly. I'd like to back you up a little bit and talk about your Auburn high school days and just kind of the baseball journey that you've been up to this point.
You want to go back to my high school days?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoa.
I know you played with some local guys. So let's hear a little bit about that.
I mean, I was blessed, like we were talking about earlier, about the playground era. We had playgrounds when I grew up here, and I think that you can attribute a lot of Auburn High's baseball success, at least, and other sports as well, to the playground eras. When we grew up, we went out and played on the playground. You learned to win, lose, and whatever else, get in trouble, get out of trouble, whatever kind of stuff you do at the playground. But we were fortunate enough to have that competitive edge growing up here, and our high school teams had an expectation. I can remember not even playing varsity baseball, but getting ready to my freshman and 8th grade, 9th grade years, going into, I can't wait to play varsity level baseball. And my expectation personally was to compete and continue a winning tradition, which that I think every kid that came through in the next 15 to 18 years after that and beyond even had that expectation, and it was almost innate. It was built in, and I was fortunate enough to have a lot of great teammates and friends that bought into the same mentality. And it wasn't like we went around and talked about it. It was like that's how we practiced. Our coach, Joe Mushak, back then, Ed Grumley, back then, our JV guy, he was later on the varsity coach. That was kind of the way it was, and it was easy. It was an easy transition. My high school days were awesome as far as that goes, as far as sports goes. I had a great high school.
You were on some very, very successful teams, and were able to parlay that to the Ithaca Bombers. How did that selection come about?
Well, that was an interesting selection. I had been fairly heavily recruited, luckily, not knowing about the process a lot, only talking to other guys a little bit older.
Sure.
So, I mean, I was, getting interest from a lot of Division I schools, some area schools, Lemoyne's, Ithaca's, and what it basically, in a long story short, boiled down to is my father said that he liked Valiceni.
Yeah.
He didn't say he liked Ithaca.
Your dad and a lot of people.
He didn't like LSU. The school is beautiful. South Carolina. I mean, Coastal Carolina was out of the picture because who was going to send their kid to Coastal Carolina to go live on a beach and go play baseball. And at the end, that was really, it was a year and a half process for me. And he muttered out those simple words: "I like Valiceni," and so didn't I. And I liked the school. And it really, my father didn't say a whole bunch about my college selection or experience at all until then, and that kind of dawned on me when the guy doesn't say that much about the whole thing, and then it just resonated to me. Luckily it did, and that was pretty much when I made my decision up. So that's how I got Ithaca College.
I excelled at Ithaca College. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think what I found out was a 367 career batting average, 17 home runs, 126 RBIs, a bunch of stolen bases.
Something like that.
Sound about right? Yeah.
Great teammates, great coaches. Had a great experience there as well. Hall of Fame coach. I still talk to him weekly, if not a couple times a week. And just retired. Yeah, sure. After 41 years at Ithaca College. Yeah.
I was going to.
Beautiful guy.
I'm going to kind of give up a surprise, but I was going to ask you. I was just going to throw a couple names by you and get your thoughts. But this is a perfect opportunity. Yeah. You do a lot of coaching now. What did you learn from George Valicente that program there at Ithaca?
From the baseball aspect of it, when I played there, it was an easy buy-in. Fundamentally speaking, base running, the game itself, what to look for, what to not. He played professionally. Him and Coach Fazio. The hitting part of it, we had a great group of guys that really wanted to play and were intrigued with the game, but beyond baseball, when I went back to coach, it really dawned on me. Years later, I went back and coached a couple years with him and Faz and that group down there. And I probably learned more the second time around about how really good he was at what he did for a living. And it was an unbelievable experience to play for him. It changed my life.
Yeah, I've talked to some other guys that have played at Ithaca. We talked about this earlier, Dave Maloney and Steve Musso.
Yeah.
And there just seems to be this reverence for Coach V or Valcente, and
he's the best.
He's
one of the best ever.
And you know, just as we're talking here, one of the neat things that I learned in preparing for this was Coach's son ended up coaching at Wells College and did some coaching there, and he read a couple articles, and he made sure to thank you for some of what you taught him along with all the other coaches there, and I just thought that was a great thing. But yeah, so successful career at Ithaca, and then you get drafted. What was that like?
Wow, dream come true.
Yeah.
You know, that was something I think a lot of people that played baseball as a kid and youth and coming up through the ranks of high school to college, and I had every ambition as a youngster to play professional baseball, and my sights were set on that. And I had Coach Valcente, Coach Mushak here, all our teammates in Auburn here. That it was kind of that mentality, and again, it wasn't nothing that I really ever said out loud that I'm going to play in the big leagues or have a shot to do so, because that's a hard thing to do, as we know. And but when I had the opportunity and I was drafted my junior year at Ithaca, it was a dream come true for me, and you don't have a lot of time to sit there and think, wow, that's a great thing. You got minutes basically, and your feet are hitting the road in a competition level really gets tall quick.
So how'd that happen? You just get a call from the Indians saying
the draft process is you're involved with it. They IQ test you, they eye test you, they do every kind of interview with you. They're at the house quite a bit. They want to know what your intent is if you're going to get drafted, and their willingness to draft you at a certain round, I guess, is if that's what you want to say. They draft by round, so they get some information, and
good.
So what's happening. And I don't know. I had Coach Valcente and people before us in that program went through the same system, so it really didn't impact me. I was lucky that it didn't have an impact on, because you're playing. You're playing baseball in college, and they're coming around all the games. They want to talk to you. So sometimes that could have a negative effect on you. But like, I had great leadership. My roommate was drafted the same year, Jamie Jemmy from Syracuse, New York.
I've met Jamie.
Yep, that's my guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of my best friends ever. One of the greatest guys ever.
Good stuff. So you're a 21, 22-year-old kid, and you're living in Batavia, New York.
Yeah.
Spent some time in Iowa.
Yes, sir.
And
North Carolina.
In North Carolina.
Kinston, North Carolina.
What's that like, just being a professional baseball player? And
it's
a little bit of a grind, or
unique grind. You don't have a lot of time to sightsee unless you're looking out the bus window. If you're not sleeping, you're looking out the bus window or playing cards or something. But you get wrapped up into the moment if you're paying attention to it. Just like anything else, you acclimate to the scene. You're concentrating on your business. I had to really take everything in, because I wasn't one of those guys blessed with 6'4" and 250-pound home run hitting guy. I wasn't going to steal, 50 bases in professional baseball in a year, or 30 even. So I had to do all those components that you have to do right to compete. Many have to do many things.
Were you a little bit of a utility man? So
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you played outfield, played some second base, played some third base, just trying to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, at that point in time, I had a coach in the spring training the second year. Asked about my availability or willingness to make that happen as a everyday type of thing. So at the end of that second spring training, I'd probably have to back up. I was drafted as an outfielder, and I played my first 20 or so games at shortstop for Batavia due to an injury.
Gotcha.
And that didn't go too bad. Didn't go great at times, but didn't go bad. But that's where they started thinking about that going into the next spring training. Maybe making me into a utility type of guy.
Nice.
Beefed up a little bit, hit the weights, and see if I could have a little bit more power at the plate, in which that kind of worked out a little bit. But that's how I kind of made my way through professional baseball.
Oh, that's great. One other interesting thing that I found about doing some research on you is started out at Auburn High School, came back and coached at Auburn High School.
Sure.
Played college ball in Ithaca, went back and coached some college ball at Ithaca.
Yeah.
Played in Batavia, went back and coached in Batavia.
Yeah,
That's got to be a pretty unique
funny,
set of events for a guy. Fantastic.
Yes, it is, and it's been great.
Yeah.
And then starting a college program here and on your home turf, literally.
Yeah.
Now, so it's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Scoot, I have been kind of hogging the conversation.
No.
Anything you want to add?
No, I was taking it all in, and I think it's great. One of the best things I find is to be able to give back to the people that gave to you.
Yeah,
sure.
And you did that multiple times, and that's it's not only great for you, but it's commendable. You know, it's
Thank
something that anybody that does that should be proud of, because you don't forget where you come from.
Thank you, and that's one of the driving, motivating reasons. But the impact of the Coach Valsennis and U-Sharks and Gremleys and all the coaches that I've run across that have an impact on my life, and the reasons and the characteristics and the tools that it gives you to, basically, I didn't make a lot of money playing baseball, but it's given me everything to get what I've achieved and gotten in my life, and I came back to Auburn to not complain about the way some things were going from a baseball aspect. I just wanted to put my name in the hat and see what happens, and then you run across a pretty good run at the high school level, and turn some things up a notch for some guys to go to college to play, and they're all doing great, and there are different aspects of life. I've ran across 3 or 4 of them this spring when I went out west to Buffalo, or I'm up in Albany, and they know that I was coming to town, and it was a beauty. That's the beauty of it right there.
Yeah.
That's the really, it's a big reward.
Well, Coach, we really
Low risk.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time and coming in here with us today. I just I'd like to get your thoughts on. I'm going to throw some names out there and just get your thoughts, and we'll just start right at the top. And Tim LaCastro. What do you think about that guy?
Awesome. Isn't it unbelievable?
It's just fantastic.
I shake my head every time I'm watching him, and
Seems like
I'm very proud of him. He's a great guy. As I when I mention Timmy, I always mention his teammates, because that's what he does. That kid's always talking about how to get on base, how to score a run, how to win for the team, what his contribution is to win for the team, and he's always been like that. And his teammates of the teams that I coached him for 3 years at the high school level, and he was like that, and his teammates were like that, which is commendable to them, and their approach and their buy-in to that component, and I think they're living their lives like that. And Timmy LaCastro is a tribute to the town, his family, his schools that he played for.
Oh, by the way, Auburn and Ithaca.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fun.
Proudly.
That's great.
I'll wear that.
Yeah, Matt Brooks.
Awesome, Matt Brooksy. Just missed him in high school. The year I stepped aside, that would have been his first year at the varsity level in Auburn High, but I had the great pleasure of having him with the Miami Marlins when I coached with the Marlins at Batavia, and he helped us out this spring, and hopefully continues with that. He's now going back to school, and he is a beautiful human being. Great player, great approach, very sound human being, and he's a great impact on the kids. He's got a lot to offer.
Well, that's fantastic. All you coaches that are out there listening, you may want to go out and try to get your hands on Matt Brooks. But
yes, sir.
One last one, Tom Napoli.
Tommy Napoli. Well, I go way back with Tommy Napoli. I grew up on Lake Ave.
Yep.
And he did too, so we go back to when he had a lot of hair and it was really curly.
So I've never seen that.
I have a picture actually to prove it. Some people might not remember those days, but you might, huh, Scoop?
Yep.
So he coached with me here in Auburn High, and that was my first and only phone call when I got the job, was to Tommy Napoli, and he was all in, very loyal. Kids adore him. He's a great coach. Probably one of the best game coaches I've ever been around, and I mean at any level. His awareness of what's happening 2-3 at bats away, what happened a couple innings ago, photographic memory of the game. We'd be going over we'd get home off the bus and we'd be shaking our heads because it would happen so fast, and we'd be on the phone at 10 o'clock at night, and he'd be ripping off every inning, every play. pitch counts, and which, that's common for a lot of baseball guys are like that. They'll remember what they get in pitch counts and in that bat. I still do it. Yeah. Funny enough, my wife teases me about it all the time. How can you remember that? I said, I can't remember a lot of things, but when they get you out, you try not to have failure the next time. Sure. So that's the competitive nature of it. But Tommy Napoli was he was the major reason of the success that we had in our high school run here was mostly because of Tom Napoli.
Yeah, I was lucky enough just to sit through a couple of practices. He just gave up his time and came and worked out with kids, and just, I thought I'd heard a lot of baseball, but he just put things in a very, very clear, distinct way, and it just blew me away with stuff that I'd never even heard of before. I thought, I thought I knew a lot about baseball, and I realized that I'm nowhere awesome. Near where you guys are at.
He's great. He was great. I can't say enough about Tom Napoli. Yeah. He was a great impact on our community, for sure.
I bet you he's donated a couple golf balls to your yard.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. I see Tom over at
me and the mall go find Tommy Napoli balls a lot. Big on it.
Nice.
Keep a whole bag for him every time. I just keep his right in one bag. He doesn't have to buy golf balls. He can get his old golf balls back.
All right. Well, Coach, again, awesome. Thank you very much for being here. And
thanks for having me.
If there's anything you want to say to baseball players in this area about what you've got going on at Cuba Community College, the Cuba Spartans, let her rip.
Cuba Spartans. Well, basically, like I alluded to earlier, we're trying to recruit the area. We're looking for committed guys that want to not only get a good education, but as I promised them, I hope to give a great effort to make their baseball education a positive experience and teach the game. We'd like to be competitive, but we're looking for buy-in guys. Trying not to over-recruit and bring in a whole bunch of guys and tell a whole bunch of people that they can't play at the end of it. So we're trying to, that's one of the first things I ran across on the recruiting trail was guys that had went to other schools and they were looking for a place to land because of places that had large numbers in recruitment. So I'm sensitive to that, and having been through it as a player, parents spend money to send their kids to school, so I'm trying to be sensitive to that. But we're looking to do some really good things and be competitive, and give them a good academic experience here, save some money, go out to a 4-year school, and do really well in life. And that's really I got a coaching staff surrounded by me. Mark Del Piano comes all year long when he's home. Matt Brooks is here, John Rizzo. Got an old-timer, Larry Wontuck, comes over and works with the pitchers. Got really good baseball people. We are committed to do well here. We're also, I'm bought into the community. I'm born and lived here my entire life, so I'm very appreciative of the city and the college getting together with Falcon Park to give us the opportunity as coaches to play down there. And hopefully now it's our turn to step up and make some good things happen down there. Absolutely. Now we're after those kinds of kids that want to come and have that experience here. So if you're out there, come and get it, and it's here to get. So
all right,
that's what we're all about.
Sounds great. Coach, thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
All right,
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it all. Thanks.